For the second time in a week, a city council member in New Jersey has been shot and killed.
What's up with y'all? What's up with y'all? Welcome back to Moxie Approved. The feds have begun looking into 2 cases of New Jersey councilmen fatally shot twice in one
For
week.
the second time in a week, a city council member in New Jersey has been shot and killed. A part-time councilman in Milford.
30-year-old Eunice Junfor, a GOP councilwoman who many only knew in passing, was gunned down in front of her home on Wednesday evening.
Tonight, the FBI is joining the search for answers.
The FBI is aware of that incident, and we are working with all of our partners in order to find out more about that incident.
And what some are calling a horrible coincidence,
Investigators believe this was an isolated incident.
others are calling it a mystery.
I can't think of anything that she could have done or said that would have made her a target of such a heinous act. Nothing that would lead us to believe it had any.
Do you have any sense that this could be some type of hate crime?
Because twice in 1 week, a New Jersey councilman was shot.
And she wasn't shot by one stray bullet. She was shot multiple times.
Learning more about a deadly shooting at a PSC&G facility in New Jersey.
This happened this morning in Somerset. Police say the victim was shot in the parking lot.
And in both cases, no motive has yet to be determined.
For now, what's still unclear is what motivated this shooting, and we are told that police are asking anyone with information to reach out.
But at this point, we don't have any answers to that question, but it's a possibility.
Now, before we get into the story, please do me one small favor, hit that like button. And if you haven't yet, apply pressure to that subscribe button. Apply pressure to that subscribe button.
For now, what's still unclear is what motivated this shooting, and we are told that police are asking anyone with information to reach out.
Now, in the first case, Russell Heller, a Milford Borough councilman fatally shot in PSC&G parking lot.
Police say 51-year-old Russell Heller was shot and killed. He's been a PSC&G worker for the last 11 years.
Russell Heller was a councilman and a supervisor for the PSC&G electrical company.
Councilman Russell Heller was a hometown boy who cherished everything Milford, and Milford loved him.
Many people consider Russell Heller to be a pillar of the community.
He was the greatest guy. He never had a bad word for anyone.
No, always smiling.
Always smiling.
I can't see anybody saying a bad thing about him.
No.
That he was not nice to them or no.
But on February 8th, 58-year-old Gary Curtis drove into the parking lot of the PSC&G facility and allegedly fatally shot Russell Heller.
A part-time councilman in Milford killed by a former employee who then killed himself.
Now, no need to ask Curtis of his motive, because shortly after that, it seems that Curtis killed himself with a self-inflicted wound shot to the head.
The gunman, Gary Curtis, drove away from the murder scene. Police found him in his car with that self-inflicted gunshot.
Now, people question the motive for this murder because Heller, not only was he a pillar of the community.
I've never heard Russ get mad, complain. He just always had a smile. He was a great guy to be around and a big asset to the town.
He also had power as a councilman in New Jersey.
His responsibilities were the biggest for the town council. All the streets, roads, sewer plant, water plant were his responsibility, so it was quite a load that he carried.
Hearing from mayors of other small towns in the area who knew of some of the projects that Councilman Heller was very fond of.
His family had a history of political fame.
Father was a councilman and a mayor, so deeply rooted in this community.
But one thing's for sure is that Milford Borough was definitely shooken up by this murder.
There's no words that can describe the loss and the sadness that this town is feeling right now, and his family.
Councilman Heller was the father of a 19-year-old daughter.
Now, in the second case, Eunice Junfor, a Sarahville councilwoman and a teacher. Now, she was gunned down in the parking lot of her residence as what police describe as an ambush.
Those who lived in the same apartment complex as Junfor say she was coming home from work and believe her killer was likely waiting right outside her townhouse before opening fire at close range.
Police say Junfor was returning from a day of work when she got into the parking lot and a man appeared and began shooting in the driver's side door. She was killed instantly as her SUV rolled and crashed into a parked Benz. Now, people definitely question the motive of this case because Junfor was a pillar of her community, a very religious woman.
Dwumfour was the chair of Sayreville's Public Safety Committee, and she worked very closely with the new police chief to reduce crime.
Now, in addition to being a councilwoman, Eunice was also an active member of her church.
I hope they find who did it really fast, because that girl was really educated. She was beautiful, and she was somebody in the community.
But not only do they not have a good motive, they also don't have a good description to work from in this case.
Around 1:32 a.m., they towed the car from down the end of the street all the way up Czech Avenue. Driver's side window, I saw gunshots. Looked like it happened really close up.
Had a hoodie on, couldn't see the face, ran that way, straight where the grass is, and jumped over a fence in the wall.
Very unfortunate situation, because Dwumfour, she was loved by many in her community.
Very spirited, very faithful, very devout.
Including the governor of New Jersey.
Our broken hearts are in Sayreville, New Jersey, in Middlesex County, where shockingly a sitting councilwoman, Eunice Dwumfour, was shot and killed in her automobile last night.
With more questions than answers at this point, Sayreville police have continued patrolling the area looking for a weapon, surveillance footage, evidence, and a motive.
Now, while I agree that these two cases are not connected, to me, they're somewhat related, because I believe both victims were killed by people whose personal life were affected by a decision these two individuals made. First case, Heller. He was killed in the parking lot by a former employee. What does that tell you? A former employee?
Killed by a former employee who then killed himself.
Tells me that something happened at that job to the point where Curtis took no consideration for Heller's life or his own life. Not blaming Heller, but that's a place to start with that case, what their personal relationship was like and what decisions Heller made that might have affected Curtis. I think that one is simple. I mean, here in America, every week you hear something about workplace violence. This next case, this one ain't simple. Dwumfour, she was a rising star in the GOP party.
Described as a rising star in the Republican Party.
She would have been a shining star.
But I don't think it was related to that. Some are even saying that she might have been killed because of a religious war that's going on in Nigeria.
Do you have any sense that this could be some type of hate crime, religiously motivated, given the religious violence that's happening in Nigeria?
But no, I don't think it's that either. You see, Dwumfour, she just got married.
Dwumfour during what friends say was one of the happiest days of her life. The 30-year-old with her new husband, Eze Kings, at their wedding.
She got married in Nigeria in December.
And when you look at the details of her death, that was a crime of passion. She got shot 7 times.
And she wasn't shot by one stray bullet. She was shot multiple times.
I mean, I can't tell you how many it was, but I heard boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, oh, shoot, that is a gunfire.
7 times. I mean, she was a pastor.
The beautiful thing about God Almighty is like a diamond. He has many sides to him. The way I may relate with God Almighty is different from how you relate with him. That is the beauty of God.
Now, as much as we'd like to hope that a pastor is not seeing someone else on the side, this wouldn't be the 20th time that we've seen something like this. So I would say that's definitely a possibility. But that's how I feel. Now it's your turn. You tell me in the comment section what you think about these two cases. Do you think that they're just coincidences? Do you think they're connected somehow? Or do you think that these are just two personal situations that caught up these two council people around the same time? You tell me in the comment section. But anyways, you know how we like to end our videos over here at Moxie Approved, right? With that water. I see y'all here next time on Moxie Approved.